everyone? Welcome to our latest White Pod. I'm Stephen Blaine, your host with White Labs, an internet marketing agency that specializes in e-commerce. Today, our guest is Richard.
Hi, Stephen.
Richard, feel free to tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself and share a bit of your background.
Sure. So I've been doing e-commerce since 2004, 2003. I actually started out with my brother building some dropship stores. Outersports.com was our first one that we did. And then I got married in 2003. My wife and I started Robbinsports.com, an internet retailer where pretty much everything we did was dropship, and we were doing almost strictly search engine optimization, link building, and content publishing. And I built several stores over the last 20 or so years. And now we have a new one that's called Robbins Athletics, where we are sharing information about how to become an athlete as well as selling sporting goods products.
Awesome. Well, tell me more about Robbins Athletics, how it came about, and go into your products.
Sure. So after my wife and I built up our Robbinsports.com business, we sold it about 5 years into it. It kind of had gotten bigger than we were willing to grow, and so we sold it. And we had a non-compete for a while, actually 7 years, which is longer than I suggest. Usually it's about 2 years max. But anyway, fast forward 20 years later, and now my wife and I have 8 children, the oldest of whom we have 6 boys who are very much into sports.
Wow.
Like I was as a teenager. And so they have been really interested in uniforms, and they've been interested in a lot of the stuff that they use, baseball bats, basketballs, everything like that. And so it made sense for us to build another sporting goods brand. And so we have built RobbinsAthletics.com, and we are basically using it as a tool. We homeschool our kids, and so we're teaching our kids how to use a CRM. We're using HubSpot to keep track of people that we want to sell, especially our custom clothing. We've got some custom sublimated stuff that we have made with a partner of ours in Shanghai, China, and then also through one of our local United States-based partners, Augusta Sportswear. And so it's been a really good opportunity to teach them the stuff that I learned back in the day when I was first starting with this, and help them make some money, and also incorporate some other things like YouTube videos where we're showing people what our kids are doing to get faster, to get stronger, and to get to be better athletes.
Awesome. Where are you, besides only e-commerce, do you have a store as well, or is it you can only buy online?
Well, we have an online. Most of our stuff is online. We do actually have. We've built kind of a training facility right next to our house, just outside of
Awesome.
Nashville, Tennessee. And we have a showroom, and then we also have decoration that we can do here in terms of like customizing clothing, anything from sports uniforms to corporate apparel and things like that. So we do have a combination of online presence, which is the most dominant, as well as where local people can buy from us.
Makes total sense. So who's your target audience for Robbins?
So we are looking at people who are purchasers for recreation leagues, travel baseball, other travel sports, travel soccer, volleyball, all those types of things. And so we're actually expanding out. We do a lot of kind of harvesting of information, people that are rec league purchasers or coordinators, including my son's played in the local Murfreesboro Football League, and that's one of the places where we started, is seeing if we can supply them with a few hundred football jerseys, basketball jerseys, and other leagues that they run, and expanding out from there. We also are doing inbound marketing with creating landing pages that we can drive traffic to from Google organically, as well as through pay-per-click marketing.
Awesome. What makes you different, or I should say better than your competitors?
It's really interesting. If you compete on pricing alone, then you probably they say that's like kind of a race to the bottom. So, but we do have really competitive pricing, especially since we have a partner in China that can basically get you a custom sublimated jersey for more cheaply than you can get it pretty much anywhere in the world, with the top quality. In fact, it's a friend of mine that I met while I was living in China who runs the factory and kind of gives us special perks for being a good friend of his and helping him get set up.
Nice.
Other than that, though, I mean, we what I found is if you market really hard, if you have really aggressive, assertive marketing, then there's a group of people that you'll be able to find they find your product, they like the price, they interact with you, either they trust your store or they give you a call or they email you and you develop a relationship. So there's also that thing where we have relationships that we've developed that will continue to develop. They bring us repeat buyers.
Awesome. So for our most of our listeners, our e-commerce entrepreneurs, what are some challenges that you faced in the last few years that you were able to overcome?
Probably one of the biggest things that I have faced being an e-commerce store owner is the really sharp increases in shipping. Also, there's been a lot of issues in the past couple of years, especially with the things that have been going on since 2020 with inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our suppliers, including we have Sanmar as one of our suppliers, is one of the largest clothing distributors in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they normally had 400 or 500 of every piece, of every style, of every size and color in stock. We've found a lot of backward stuff that we've had to deal with. In a lot of cases, we've had to cancel orders, but we've also, in a lot of cases, been able to find something similar from another supplier or a different style that was similar from that supplier. But those two things, especially as I look back over the last 20 plus years, shipping as a cost, a percentage of what the total order was nowhere near as high as it is now. And that's something that, with inflation and everything that we're all having to overcome.
Awesome. So what are your top selling products on the site?
So we have some cycling jerseys that we do, custom cycling jerseys. That a lot of these events that people have throughout the year, they want to get something that has really, really involved logos and designs that you can't do with traditional like heat press or screen printing, but we can do them with custom sublimation. We have typically, if it's an order that's about say 500 or less, we're extremely competitive with our pricing and our turnaround time. We can get it done in like 2 weeks for most, outside of the busy season. And even if it is a busy season, if we can, if it's a priority customer, if there's a reason why we can get it done, then we will get it done for them. We also have a really good relationship with a company called Garrett Sports, and we sell a lot of portable basketball backstops that they have. There's one that they have that's called the Micro E54. That's just like a $2,000 home unit, portable unit that you can put indoors or outdoors and move it around. And they keep those well stocked, and we sell quite a bit of those.
Gotcha. Have you seen they came out with an airless basketball? You saw that yesterday, like during All-Star Week?
Yeah, I have seen that. My son was telling me about it. I haven't looked too much into it, but I'm sure we'll be selling it soon enough.
Yeah, I mean they're $2,500 right now. I feel like it's going to go down eventually.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
if they can reach the market, right?
It's great. It makes no noise. Like you could bounce it. It would make it's wild. So I saw that this week. So
yeah, in a household full of lots of kids that like to bounce balls, I mean, maybe that might be worth $2,500.
Yeah, I was like, I was thinking it's. Some people might see the investment there.
For sure.
And I know you mentioned.
I'd be interested in seeing how they make that work. I mean, it's really interesting to see how people come up with new things you've never even thought of.
Yeah,
and then it ends up being in the market.
For sure. I mean, it's not going to change the basketball. Definitely just another option, right? So yeah. Right. I know you mentioned you do a lot of marketing. What are some ways? You mentioned SEO. What are some ways that you're promoting the website and your business in general?
It's been interesting. I used to write all my own content, or I would outsource it to people. In fact, just recently I spent probably $2,500 outsourcing to some writers in the Philippines to write product descriptions and everything.
Huh?
But we've jumped into this AI thing,
of course,
which has been interesting. And so using ChatGPT with plugins and prompts and things like that, it's like the business partner that's super efficient. I think time will tell in terms of how well Google decides to rank those pages. So far, they're doing not too badly. But we kind of become, instead of content writers in a lot of cases for the text we do, we have become content aggregators.
Yep.
And that's been a major change in just like the last couple of years that I've seen happening.
What's the most effective marketing strategy for your business you've seen so far?
So one thing that I've noticed with a lot of competitors, when they have product pages out there, oftentimes the questions that a person would have when they come to the page that would keep them from buying that product, those questions are not answered. And so with our ability to use AI to be able to put a very thorough product description, including like, for instance, these Micro Z basketball goals, they ship via freight, and there's sometimes that can be tricky in terms of getting a checkout where someone comes and buys it right on your website and checks out with it. You've got to integrate freight options and things like that in there. Mm-hmm. But also specifications for whether this can be used for specific leagues versus others. We try to put every bit of information in there that we can, both to get that page ranking well in Google for some of the long tail phrases that we want to target, as well as to make it to where any roadblocks that a customer might have that would keep them from buying it, those are taken out because they're like, hey, I fully understand what this thing is. And we're including not just text and images, but also, some explainer videos and reviews and things like that we do personally to make it to where those products are more appealing, both to the search engines as well as to the people that find the pages.
Awesome. Do you have an agency? You an SEO, or you doing SEO yourself?
We do it ourselves at this point. I've been doing it for about 20 plus years, and I do sometimes get help or consultations from others. I know that there's a lot of things, especially technical SEO, that you're not able to do yourself, or that you need another set of eyes. So in those cases, we do reach out and get consulting.
Great. Sorry for the dog bark. What's your future plan with Robbins Athletic, your other brands? What's your future plan?
Well, so with Robbins Athletics, we've got a lot of fun things we'd like to do once the business is large enough to kind of start maybe goofing around. We have a program, a show we're going to do called Coaching the Pros. It will involve my boys and guests, kind of a comedy, coaching professional athletes on how to be better. Awesome. Based on maybe like the knowledge of a 10-year-old rec ball player. So that should be a lot of fun. Also, our YouTube channel that we're building up, we're hoping to be able to have a situation where people find it, they're trying to get better, they're trying to get faster, more athletic. And they find the page and they come and they buy the products that we're selling. My son actually mentioned the other day wanting to be able to build our own line of baseball equipment. They're huge into baseball equipment, and a lot of it's these baseball gloves are $200 to $300 they're buying. They're hoping to be able to set up something where we have our actual brand name on some baseball bats and baseball gloves.
Awesome. Well, those are all the questions I have. Is there anything else that you want our listeners, our viewers to know about your brand, yourself? Is there anything that I missed that you want our viewers to know?
One thing I would say about e-commerce and this whole opportunity, and I have a Udemy course that's about how to basically build a $60,000 a year income. Clearly, you can go more than that if you want to, but that's really what it's set up for, how to find suppliers and things like that. But I found e-commerce business and using the internet to make money to be the quickest way to scale from struggling, maybe, in a job, a 9-to-5, to actually being able to make really good money that benefits and blesses your life and your family. I've been able to work from home with my family, building these businesses over the last 20 years, and it's just been super amazing. So for anybody that's looking to get into e-commerce, either for like a side hustle, or if it's something where you're building something that's like a bigger company, there's so many different levers and buttons and things like that if you develop your skills on them, you don't need a 4-year degree for it necessarily. You just need to be able to get in and take a course and be hyper focused and then apply what you've learned and see this stuff take off.
That's awesome. Where are you promoting that at?
So my course is on udemy.com.
Okay.
So it's called How to Build a 60K a year business, e-commerce business.
Awesome.
So it's mainly targeted. I had a bunch of people that I was basically helping for free who wanted to get into e-commerce. And so instead of giving the same information to everybody, manually or through in person, I went ahead and just created a course. It's been probably about 7 years ago I created it, but a lot of people still use it. A lot of the stuff that's in there is super relevant to what's going on today. I don't have anything in there about AI, but I probably will update the course in the next year to put some more things in there about how to build content with AI.
And that's the name of the game now. It's changed. Richard, I appreciate you having on, and thank you for coming on the White Pod.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate it.